Welcome everyone to the first Gestalt of 2022, and Happy New Year, everyone. It's so good to see everyone. It's a joy and an honor to see everyone, and we're blessed. I wanted to post something in the chat that I'm going to just go over for just a second. First of all, my website is going to have information for upcoming events and publications. It's amyhoskins.com. It's also changing. I have a shopping cart, learning about the shopping cart, so that's not live yet. But Gestalt is on the fourth Saturday afternoon each month from January to October. And our Facebook group is there, that link there where it says Facebook. And Gestalt Poetry Open Mic is back February 26th with feature poet Jeff Cottrell. And we're watching COVID to see when we can go hybrid. Stay tuned. And by hybrid, we mean that we'd be live here and we'd be online at the same time. So we had a grant from Salt Weekly, which is this wonderful, edgy local magazine. And they gave us a grant that went towards getting our big screen TV so that we can show the people who were on Zoom to the people who were in the room. So please send us good vibes for that. We want to go live. Thank you. It is exciting.
Indeed.
Well, first off, we're going to have our feature. And I'm going to introduce him, but I want to put that in the chat as well. Why is he doing that? Oh. Okay, I will read it. Markey Mark Symmonds. Rhythm of the Ink is a writer and performer of poetry and flash fiction. He started making poems as a teenager from music lyrics. At the time, he was heavily influenced by two-tone, ska, and reggae. He also listened to a lot of material done by Gary Newman. Mark then came back to poetry when he met his wife 30 years later, when he would sit with her by a local lake and recite poetry, which he made up on the spot. Markey Mark has had work published in online journals such as Hidden Constellation and Aerial Chart. His work has also been published in several anthologies, including Fallen Angel, Script Stuff, Poetic Vision, Globalization, an international anthology, and Sinew, the 10th anniversary of Nashville's Poetry in the Brood. Markey Mark has recently published his first collection, Rhythm of the Ink, The First Wave. He's also had his work featured on local radio and several podcasts. He's been collaborating with visual artists, putting poetry to paintings. Mark also performed at the Leamington Art in the Park with Script Stuff Poetry. Welcome, please, Markey Mark Symmonds.
Yeah. I rolled the dice with the devil, collecting souls from 6-foot deep holes and funeral pyres of this game he never tires. Every game just the same, his total mounting up, and mine stays the same. Empty as my drinking cup, I topped up on bourbon and rye. I'm playing dice with the devil, and I don't know why. There's fire in his eyes and a smirk in his face as he casts his cubes on the table of this dimly lit place, the petroleum lamp casting shadows across his face. I know my soul is on the line as he rolls the dice one last time, and sixes fall into line. Then with the swipe of his fist, he crushes them to sand, and I know my soul is now in his hands. I offer him double or quits, so he leans back and reaches for 3 dice on the table behind. He shakes them once, twice, thrice. I should have known what number would appear on those dice. 6, 6, 6, the number of the beast. He handed me a different set, but I grabbed his instead and rolled for his soul. The loaded dice landed 6, 6, 6, that's twice. His eyes widened and his mouth breathed fire, so I offered up cards, Texas Hold'em. Winner is the highest hand, and the loser folds first. He took up his cards and he played his hand, a pair of aces. I stared at his blank face, waiting for 2 more aces. But to my surprise, he dropped the eights, the dead man's hand. His face turned the colour of sand. He knew his soul was in my hand, and to never play cards with the devil's soul. Thank you. Hi, I'm Markey Mark Symmonds. That's my opening poem of tonight. I'm actually an Essex lad, although I'm based in Northamptonshire. And for the very early part of my life, I actually spent it in Northumberland, in Ashington. Ashington's actually famous for 2 things. One's coal mining, and the other one's 2 quite famous brothers called Bobby and Jackie Charlton, who were in the England 1966 World Cup squad. And my mum worked in a chip shop there part-time, and during the summer holidays I used to go down there and have me lunch. And this was a poem I wrote of my memories of that. Just a couple of things. That a big Geordie isn't me being insulting, it's actually a very big dragline crane. So, right, in the northeastern town where the pits have long since closed down and the big Geordie once scraped coal from the head of the mine, there stands a chip shop that smells so divine, where I sat on whitewashed windowsills at lunchtime. The smell of battered fish, of pies and sausage that mingled and lingered with vinegar and salt splashed on hot chips and bags of battered bits. In my shorts, I would sit with my wooden fork in hand, admiring the golden potatoes and the batter on the ring of pineapple atop the portion steaming in my lap. The vinegar pooled at the bottom, dragging the grains of salt with it. The blow of the chip, eagerly nibbling the end in anticipation of the burning sensation on my lip, and the explosion of taste upon my buds as I devoured those fried chip spuds. Batter crispy but soggy inside, gave up the sweetness from where pineapple ring did hide. The juice as I bit it rolled around my tongue, clearing the palate of the sharpness the chips had brung. Customers came to and fro to buy the last of the food to go, and I watched as Mum served up the golden heaven in newspaper, which seemed to enhance the vapour. Soon would come the polis. There was 2 of them, standing drinking tea and having a free lunch too. Incentivise them to stay whilst taking to accounted for the day. I finished my chips, the smell so divine, the greasy paper and damp fatty residue is all that's left behind. And now I'm a man, and those days are long gone. But as soon as I smell that unmistakable aroma, I'm back in that northeastern town, on that windowsill, with pineapple fritter and chips, and the occasional bag of battered bits. Okay, so that was my memories of my life in a northern town. So I'd like to come a bit more up to date now. And this was one I wrote. I've done it a few times, but it's still so poignant. And this was one I wrote in response to some stuff that happened in America last year that we all watched unfold on telly. I'm not going to say anymore because I think the poem will say it all. Mum, I can't breathe. My lungs don't fill with air. I'm dying on the ground here and you're not there. Mum, I need air. I can't breathe. This virus has got me. No amount of PPE will protect as it crushes the life from me. I'm drowning and want to flee. If I die, the population will take to one knee. The virus is systemic, pandemic, rooted in a population of white supremacists, bigoted minds. This virus mutates, and after time, it's still families grieve. But I can't breathe, laying here until unable to move. I need your voice to soothe. This fucking virus just won't move. It's been following me all my life, putting me down, holding my wings, I'll take flight. Tonight, you will cry. I don't know why, but today I'm going to die. Mum, I can't breathe. As much as I try. Mum, I can't breathe. This virus is choking me. The world will watch in disbelief, joining you in your grief. Watch this virus, for it wears a cloak that protects it whilst its toxicity chokes. It lurks under cover of white man's power, of political statements of ivory towers. From hate, they all cower. Mum, I can't breathe. It's time for me to leave this racist world to where I know not. Mum, I can't breathe. Mum, I can't breathe. Mum. So it was Mum, I can't breathe. Oof. Can I just ask that somebody's got their mic unmuted? I was getting a lot of feedback there. So can everybody make sure they muted their mics? And now this one, moving on, I've really started getting into the Save the Planet stuff and what's really going on our planet. And I wrote this again last year, and it's been published in my book and in an Australian publication called Globalization, The Sphere Keeps Turning, which is a anthology of many poets who have all written about global warming, etc. And this one's called Plastic. And I really wrote it because of the irony of what we're doing with the world. Oceans blue and green, whales floating, swimming in seas of rubbish, cesspools of fools discarding plastic wrappers and throwaway nappies designed to keep us humans happy. Scientific invention, the plastic revolution, part of Darwin's evolution. No solution to plastic pollution. We need a new resolution. Fish dying while MPs are lying, hiding behind mediocre gestures whilst the planet festers in the name of progress. We have regressed, leaving our waste all over the rivers, seas and space. We need to pick up the pace. Straws and bags are a political disgrace, and the carbon neutral two-faced politicians flying to conferences on jet aircraft, burning fuels at a mighty pace to meet leaders face to face as the world moves at a deathly pace. Yesteryear, some hold dear, our recycling credentials were clear. For while we burned fossil fuels, milk bottles were being reused, delivered on electric carts during early morning starts, and the rag and bone man with his horse and cart, and no one ever complained about his horse's fart. Darwin's right about adaptation of the species, survival of the fittest, interpreted by the government as survival of the richest. Evolution is killing us, and the convenience and speed, we want it all, and plastic is our delivery tool. Now we have exploration into space, and our planet lays to waste. When it's dead, the rich will flee to the moon instead, dodging the junk they've dumped above our heads, leaving the poor to the mess that's left, reduced to seas of plastic and shores of decaying gannets, sucking dry the last of the air on this dying planet. Okay, thank you. That's my set for today. I hope you enjoyed that. I've put my link in. By all means, nip along there, and it's got all my links to my YouTube and etc. New book is on its way. I'm just putting that together at the moment, so hopefully later this year I'll have an announcement for you of a new book and possibly a chapbook that's coming out as well. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you so much, and congratulations. Wonderful to be published and to have your own anthology and be part of other anthologies. Thank you for being so clear and powerful. Those were all wonderful poems, and I really appreciate you being here. I want to get started with the open mic. Everyone, please give him another hand. I'm so sorry.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Kind of doing a lot of admin at the same time, so you'll forgive me. Now, first, we're going to share the screen with Alexandra Sarapolo. Did I pronounce your name correctly? Are you there? Let's see.
Hi, I'm here.
Oh, good, good. Yay. Let me see if I can share screen with you.
Yeah, can I share the screen?
Go ahead.
Okay. Το αντίξον συμφέρον και εκ των διαφερόντων καλεί στην αρμονία και πάντα κατέριν γίνεσθε. Contrasting elements converge, and from their union, the most beautiful harmony is born. Heraclitus. And the river flows, the never-ending flow. And our bodies go against the flow. And our bodies go with the flow. So many people suffering, ailing. So many people flourishing, blooming, synthesizing turquoise love and kindness. Like a colorful blossom on a tree, directing, balancing our physical body, our beauty, into health, strength, vibrancy, healing weakness, disease, releasing our spirit into mystic quality. Fly, 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 fly. And the river flows, the never-ending flow. And our minds go against the flow. And our minds go with the flow. So many people devising, propagandizing discordant ideas. So many people initiating, rippling, harmonic ideas. Synthesizing turquoise love and kindness. Like perfect symmetry in an uneven diagram. Directing, balancing our thoughts, our words into order, clarity, relief, subduing darkness, chaos, releasing our spirit into mystic quality. Fly, 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 fly. And the river flows, a never-ending flow. And our hearts go against the flow. hearts go with the flow. So many people fighting, taking a dislike to each other. So many people collaborating, taking pleasure in each other's company. Synthesizing turquoise love and kindness. Like a spark of fire in the darkness. Directing, balancing our emotions, our passions into hope, courage, brilliance, overcoming resentment, fear, releasing our spirit into mystic quality. Fly, 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 fly. And the river flows, the never-ending flow, and our souls go against the flow, and our souls go with the flow. So many people gloomy, stressing outside their magical world. So many people glowing, shining inside their magical world. Synthesizing turquoise love and kindness. Like the fluorescent glow of a firefly. Directing, balancing our intuition, our flame, into aspirations, visions, luminance, phosphorizing, visible, invisible. Releasing our spirits into mystic quality. Fly, 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 fly. And the river flows. Just let it flow.
Wow. Wow. Speechless. You are so talented. Oh my goodness. I made notes. It was visually so, as some said, hypnotic, delicate, but when you would show the different moods and the different types of energies, the palette was beautiful, transcendent, flowing. Color palette was beautiful in each way that you expressed what you were saying, and phosphorizing. I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Enhance the words.
It was amazing.
And my husband is playing the guitar.
Goodness gracious. Wow, both of you are so talented.
Hello, thank you.
Hello, fine. How are you?
It's very cold in Greece right now.
Oh, same here. I'm sorry. Well, thank you so much. That was brilliant. Thank you. Please come again. Next, we have KHAOS. Try to find you here. There you are. KHAOS.
Hello, how you doing?
Good. How are you? Welcome.
I'd like to read two pieces today from my new book entitled Chaotic Verse Musings. The first piece is called Death March. I see millionaire brothers tatted down. Though they say they aren't gay, their asses hanging out, their pants on the ground. I see gold inlaid teeth making gums and lips sore, mouth hanging open like an old worn out door, youthful face twisted into a permanent frown. Young girls jerking, got all parts of their bodies jerking, faces contorted, beauty distorted. Young men with an evil grin leaning in, minds polluted with gin and thoughts of sin. Old predators standing in the shadows lurking. Babies packing heat, bigger than most of them. Chances of success in life or even survival, almost next to nothing, non-existent, at best slim. Babies being born to babies, suffering the consequences of having mothers who can't cope or even relate, ending up wards of the state. Imagine having this malfunctioning system seal your fate. What to do? What to do, y'all? I'm asking you. What to do before, or is it already too late? We're on a death march, y'all. No curves, no corners, no detours, just straight. Can nothing alter our course? Can nothing make us undo our choice? Distract us, slow us down, make us hesitate? Must we really stay this course? Must we accept this death march? Must we really be out? Must this really be our fate? I cannot relate. Oh, for heaven's sake. Help me, y'all. Help me. Help you. Help us. Escape this death march. My people, get off your asses. For the survival of the human race, participate. That piece is called Death March. I have another piece that from that same book, and it's entitled Two. I've now reached that age of two, T-O-O-2. Too poor to be anyone's sugar daddy, too old to be a Mac daddy, too plain to be eye candy, too outdated to mentor, too lame to create excitement. I'm only a shell of the man I used to be. I'm now exactly who I appear to be. What you'll get is exactly what you see. I'm not pimping anymore. I'm horn now. Things I used to do all night now take me all night to do. The difference is that I am now loyal and true in the things I do. It would seem some things have gone or been compromised by time. Rest assured that what and how have left a permanent instruction on my mind. That's entitled Two. Thank you, Amy, for having me. Thank you, people, for listening.
Thank you. Thank you for being real and talking about what's happening and living to your age and being with us today. We really appreciate you being with us today.
I'd like to add that anyone interested in buying my book, it can be bought on Amazon, and the name of the book is Chaotic Verse Musings.
I'm writing it down. Chaotic Verse Musings.
Musings. Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome. Thank you. Stay with us.
Hello, sorry. Do you call me then?
Amy, you're muted. You're muted, Amy.
Somebody's unmuted me, so
Goodness gracious. I'm so sorry. Did you ask to be earlier in the set?
if I would please, because of the eye.
Yes, that's so yes, I actually call you earlier than you were listening.
Well, right. I saw myself being unmuted. And right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I've got two pieces, one which is short and was written during lockdown, and one which is a bit longer. And in the first lockdown, we were scared and so confused. And it's now 63 years since my mother died. I was 13. And we've just passed the anniversary of her death, which is why I'm thinking about her so much at the moment. So this is to my mother, and it's a letter I wrote to her. Hello, Mum. Oh, okay, you don't like Mum or Mother or Ma, so it's Mummy. Hello, Mummy. You have been gone now for 54 years, but we still think of you. You died at 50 so long ago. We are now the older generation. Judy died at 49, so did not even have as much time as you. Susan and Meg and I are now the old ones. Yes, I know they were Susan and Margaret. Things change. I'm still Richard, though, although I have been Rick and Dick in my time. You had grandchildren, lots of them, and they had kids too, so now you're a great-grandma. And we worry about the children like you worried about us. Now we live in a strange world, a world where a pandemic rules, and Mummy, we are frightened, angry, bewildered, scared. I woke up this morning and I thought about you. And it just felt I had to write it. And then I always change my programme because of things that other people have said. And Mark did his marvellous poem about Black Lives Matters. And this was something that moved me incredibly. Mark's poem and the subject of it moved me dramatically too. This is called George Stinney, and it's completely true. In 1944, which seems so long ago, but it is within my sister's lifetime, and just 8 years before I was born, in America, the land of the free, a 14-year-old black boy was executed for the murder of 2 little girls. He was placed in the electric chair and had to be seated on a large Bible used as a booster seat. He was so small. The girls were battered to death. Their bodies were dumped in a ditch. The boy was George Stinney. He had spoken to them that day as they passed his house. He directed them to where they could pick certain flowers, and that is all that was proven. He was arrested and taken from his parents, allowed no solicitor, even though the Sixth Amendment guarantees him one, allowed no visits from his family. They could not agree on the description of the murder weapon, and there was no blood found on George. At the trial, his counsel was a white politician campaigning for election in a town full of hatred where lynching was threatened. He cross-examined no one. George was alibied by his sisters, which they still swear is the truth. Yes, this is so close in time that some of the witnesses are still alive. The trial, just 81 days after the murder, lasted 1.5 hours. The all-white jury were out 10 minutes. 1,000 whites packed the courtroom. Not one black person allowed in. George was not allowed to see his parents until after his conviction. In America, the land of the free. At the trial, they allowed discussion of rape and even necrophilia, even though post-mortems pronounced the girls to be virgins. The trial papers have disappeared. He has an alleged confession, one made by a 14-year-old boy deprived of contact with parents or counsel. They killed him with a too large hood that allowed the tears flooding to be seen. His dad was allowed to approach and speak to him just before he died, the only family he had had since his arrest. This was in 1944 in America. He was buried in an unmarked grave. 70 years later, the conviction was overturned for lack of evidence of it being tainted with racism. They never found the murder weapons. How could a child hide metal objects so thoroughly? He could not. A real murderer ran free while they murdered another child. This was in America. George died because he was black. If anyone can't comprehend why Black Lives Matters, why we need to take the knee, they should research George Stinney. No one says other lives do not matter. What they say, in America in particular, there is good reason to fear your early death if you are black. And that should never have been and can no longer be. And there you go. Yes, it's going to be in my second book, which is out in October. It's called Iconic Tattoo, and it's going to be published by Stairwell Books. So, well, thank you.
Thank you. I'm incredibly moved by both poems. Thank you so much. Brilliant storytelling and very, very moving for the times. And I can't believe it was 1944. I mean,
Well, I've read, you know, I was Googling probably at the time of the George Floyd murder. I was Googling other injustices, and it came up, and it was well documented. It's not hidden. It's not unknown. And I was just aghast. I was aghast completely.
I am too. Thank you for bringing that to our attention if we weren't aware of it before. Really appreciate that. Next, we have Lesley Constable.
Hi, everyone. It's wonderful to
Hello.
see you all once again. Okay, I'm, well, here I go. The first one I'm going to read is called The Obscure Object of Desire. And it's sort of a take on the surrealist Luis Buñuel's That Obscure Object of Desire. It's called The Obscure Object of Desire. There is an emptiness in desire that stares you down unflinching. You await the gaze, not looking, but ahead of it, it is understood not to look. Understanding, not looking, indirect, you see that it is you wavering. Desire remains. Unsure, you waver in the why not. If you dance, the sudden movement jars it loose, this desire, attached at the hip, to pause, wiggle the toes, but only those fourth and fifth and to the left. It is a sensation you are unprepared for as it attaches your desire to the cords of the neck, the tickle now sudden in your throat, unreachable. A giggle perhaps rises up from the toes. The sensation to sneeze gripped upon you when you don't care to sneeze just now, or you can't. You will not allow this further down. You simply will not permit it. This desire to slide the length of the gullet and hit, jarring the senses like a bump in the night portion of you that says, boo, that spot quiet enough to be perfunctorily there, assuredly there, the spot, but nonetheless unexpected and not spoken of, that spot. You certainly do not expect it to shout, after all, inconvenient if you are in public. What do you call this? I know what I think and will not name it because I know better and know that I simply do not understand enough to have the words to call it better. I know that I am not in control, never that, and I never was. We live with this nameless consideration. I could call it anything. I could call it lunch, but it, my desire, would not sit with me and eat or even talk, not a polite exchange, nothing polite, nothing close, gibberish at best. The toes on the other foot, the one second from the right and third in from the left rather, has this understood. The curling of these two toes is when you know you have arrived close enough to desire that you can at least relax momentarily and just be. So my second one is a poem about a moment when I was a child that I sort of had this, what I guess you would call it, a childish epiphany of understanding something. It's called The Source of Secret Joy. 1. In the absence of light, we choose darkness, for knowing little else in the moment, that is where we place ourselves. That is where we are. In the absence of light, we are in the dark. Consider a time when this is not the case. Consider a time when we knew right away and there was no choice, no choice. We were just there in the light, and sure that there was nothing but light, just light. 2. I am small, I am running so fast, I imagine the wings there in place and fixed surely at my shoulders or variously at my heels, just briefly as I smile and smile. There are my friends, I run by them, I run in essence away from them, but not to be away from them, but to be by myself, to be myself, to be. I sense them, the essence of them, in a sweet, sensual blur as I run past them. There are my friends, I say in joy and with love, as I run by them and I smile. They are waving at me in joy, but I am separate now, not part of them. I am separate. This is the first time that I realize. This is the first time I know, I understand myself in my singularity, and I know this power surely, deeply, and am satisfied. I am a singular being, and I'm meant to be, and am made to be often alone. And from that moment, this knowledge is the source of my greatest secret joy and the source of my greatest secret sorrow. It is both ways at once. This is the moment always, then, and forever. This is the moment of our separation, and this is the moment of our unity with God, of ourselves with God, ourselves as God. 3. It formed like a sob and traveled through and with my body. What is this? What is this which burns so as it goes down through the tributary, like a river from the source to the ocean? What is this that it takes with it so much, brushes away, washes away so much of what I don't understand, so much, and it is good? 4. Darkness is separation from light, the separation of light, or is it? Or is it simply the balance of light? Thanks, that's it for me.
Wow. Joy. I feel like I've been in a session and learned so much just by the way your mind flows and the way you craft your language so delicately and weave and oh my, very good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good to see you.
Nice seeing you.
Is Ella here? Ella? She may not have made it. Rhoda Thomas, welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, apologies from Tim Evans. He's not. He's recovering from surgery still. So
Hope everything goes well.
okay. Next Sunday and through the week is the anniversary, the 50th anniversary of what's called Bloody Sunday in Ireland, when I think on that particular day, 26 unarmed civilians were gunned down by British soldiers, and others had been shot again at another protest, I think a few days earlier, another 9 or 10. And I think it was 200 or 300 people were interned without trial, which is why people were protesting about that. And even within another 5 years, there were a number of hunger strikers, of which one was Bobby Sands. Anyway, this is a poem I've written about that, and as we're thinking about Ireland this week, I'll read it. It's also a poem for all hunger strikers anywhere, and we know suffragettes, for example, use that tactic. The sky is translucent blue. I see it through the slatted iron bars. I remember the lilies, reminiscent of you, the scent that heals the scars. In the corner of the cell, uneaten food congeals. Children yet unborn will never know me. The idea of freedom is what heals. Don't let them believe stories of my infamy. The power to define our own truth, that's what's worth dying for. Writing the rules. There's nothing sweeter to youth. I was a freedom fighter, not a murderer. And don't you think I'd love to bite into an apple and feel the juice run down my chin? The slaughter of our people has left me implacable to promises made, whatever their origin. Easter lilies in the cortege of the ones who've died. Our suffering becomes our weapon. And we can challenge those who've lied and truth told from New York to Hebron. And now I can only see you in my mind's eye as eyesight fades and also smell. There are families who long to hear my last sigh, but they're not the only ones who live in hell. Maybe we could have achieved more with less. We're not criminals. I'll never accept that. What wins is surviving under duress, and they'll never make me retract. And we'll not rest till they've gone from our land, till our own choices and laws make the news. And right now it's me who's making a stand, but there are plenty more who'll walk in my shoes. So that was that one. And Easter lilies are, you know, an Irish flower. It's in my, there's a beautiful flower in one of my books. Then comes the bird song, and then a poem, much more kind of less political, shall we say, a more subtle poem from my latest book, Imago. And this is called Guitar Man, and I really appreciated the beautiful guitar playing earlier on. Behind you, jars labeled rice, sugar, tea bags. You perch on the stool, noodling on the guitar, and we can hear in your voice the absence of her. Once you chased her through the patio doors and round the sofa till her bright laughter stopped you in your tracks. Maybe you turned away, missed the moment. Or maybe you chose to stay, giving a kiss at the speed of a semiquaver. In this galley, you sing another man's words, and in the place where once she held out a colander, laughing, shaking water from ribbons of cabbage, pink pointed nails glinting under the tap. And you noted these pointed nails, this falling water. Oh, the cruelty of remembrance is savage. And this man who wrote the melodies you play, he's the brother who knows your hesitation. The beloved comrade who sings of revolution, it's his songs you return to again and again. He opens a doorway to your longings and regrets, to your soul. He offers absolution. At night, you sit beside the silent pans, upended on the drainer, light catching handles around which her hands once curled. Surfaces that hold the memories of onions sliced, courgettes cut, potatoes peeled, and undetected sips of wine. And your serenade echoes against the kitchen walls, against which your heartbreak is hurled. This is not the control of the soundproofed cell, where you taught yourself diminished sevenths, minor sixths, and 1-4-5 progressions. Learned how the songwriter broke through repressions, using the words of those whose stories he'd tell. There, you played the notes and made your confessions. So maybe then you found her under the rose-scented duvet, touched her lips with your guitar string thumb, felt warm tears thaw your frozen self, lay down under the quilted coverlet, and let all the ways that she needed to defend herself enter your soul and pierce your heart.
Wow. I keep saying wow, but that was brilliant storytelling of both the dark and the light, the political and ephemeral love, all the things. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Pleasure.
Next, we have Vron McIntyre.
Hello, sorry, my mouse was malfunctioning there.
I'm sorry.
Just give me a second. I need
No
to
worries.
put it in. Could I share my screen, please?
Yes, please do.
Thank you. There we go. Hang on. Can you see that okay?
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. This is a poem I wrote fairly recently. It was in one of my writing groups. We were given the prompts of paradise, and I went to the dictionary, as I often do in these situations, and these two definitions of paradise and related words sort of jumped out at me a bit. There's this old Iranian word that means walled enclosure, and the equivalent in the New Persian language meaning vegetable patch, and this prompted this whole memory from quite a few years ago now, 1990, Gunthorpe. Gunthorpe is a small village near Nottingham on the River Trent. And anyway, this is Gunthorpe 1990. A patch of paradise after a wretched year. This back garden, river village, small holding, proliferating lushly in the late August sun, companionably planted for contentment. You take a bowl out empty, return to the kitchen with it full of green leaves, fragile flowers, crisp roots, small glossy fruits, salad for dinner, the freshest I've ever had. I turn the compost barefoot with you, feel the difference through my feet between wild grass and vegetable plot, eager focus of growing energy. I follow as you tend and weed, asking questions you answer with such patient expertise, a yield of practical wisdom to store up against times of famine. Scatter the seeds, see which ones sprout. Some will take root and grow, leave some things undecided, release the need to know. I take off my shoes, the warm grass greets my feet. I become part of that garden, aligned in my own growing, under the lazy sun, mark the end of my 30th year, knowing something important is happening here. Leave room for magic to seep in. The wheel rolls along. Let circumstances decide. Let the dance take me. That patch at the back corner, self-satisfied pumpkins swelling slowly, colour of rust and sun and autumn, air filled with the hazy scent of tall green five-fingered pot plants thickly budding, dozing in the easy warmth. Not shattered into 1,000 fragments, but blossoming in 1,000 directions. Some will set seed, some will bear fruit. Here I drowse, outside time, dream new possible futures, traverse my own Saturnalia into a new decade, lay down a new path, plant a new patch, listen to my unbound feet tell me how and where to tread. That's that one. And then I have one out of my new pamphlets, which is Random Trail, which I'll put the details in the chat after. And this one is called Adventurer Without a Plan. Adventurer without a plan, without a destination, without a clue. Just know that when a whiff of magic comes along, you have to follow it, sniff it out, find out where it takes you. Step out like the traveling fool you are. Learn how to stay on that track, but also how to let yourself be diverted. How to surf the waves of fascination till you wind up nowhere near where you thought you'd be. This is the stuff of life, the quickening pulse, the hint that makes you curious, the side path overgrown with weeds that draws you. Follow it. Follow the scent of meaning, the random unknown mystery. While it keeps you moving, you are going somewhere. Follow the meaning of words. Follow trails that may not be trails. The rubber bands discarded by postmen letting you know you're on the right track. Follow memory, magic, connection, coincidence. It does not matter where it takes you. There is no lost. Thank you very much.
So much brilliant writing there. The alliteration, all the use of language was brilliant. And the storytelling, I was just with you all the way through, dreaming along with you, the magic, following the magic. It was beautiful. Thank you so much. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Next, we have Katie Thompson. Looking, I'm sure, let's see if she's here real quick. She is.
Nope, not on camera.
Oh, now I see.
It's the dog. I
Welcome.
have you to read today. One is one I wrote actually this afternoon called Hot Water. I'm drinking hot water right here because I got COVID last week. And my doctor said hot water really helps with COVID. So, and then it inspired a poem here on hot water. I have nothing today, written in the sands of time, sublime, not, I have nothing to give. Handbag empty, fitting emotions and heartbeats out of control. I cannot roll anymore with this. A list of to-dos a mile long. Keep piling, deep pockets of emotions come up empty. Thanks, sweetie. I have nothing today. What I say, what I think, drinking hot water, I might have much to say. Sipping this warmth, a token of self-care, not unaware of each fleeting moment. So I think I have everything. Trying to make this as if I can, will it be? Suddenly I look in my cup, the water's low. So I fill this empty now and I fill this empty now and then I don't have nothing but something. And sweetie, I have a few more here that I wrote out of from this book that I was published in called Healed Shop. This one is Kindness Condensed after probably my favorite poet of all time, Naomi Shihab Nye. And this is after a poem that she wrote, an erasure poem based on it. Lose, feel, you held, counted, desolate regions will never stop. Forever you learn the gravity of kindness. This could be you with glands, the simple breath. You know the deepest things. You must wake up. You must speak. Only kindness makes sense anymore. Only kindness, only kindness. You have been looking everywhere. And I will read one more out of this book. All right, I'll read this one, Zen Absidarian. Above me is the sky. All over I feel the cool of the breezes. They cool me, calm me. Do I really understand? Do I fully take a breath? Do I enjoy it to the fullest? Efforts taken, effortless, existence. Floating above me, floating are the clouds above, great forms like cotton. How I wish I could touch them. Hold me, they support me. If I would let them do so, just let go of the stresses, kite flying calm, freely floating, keeping me light, lifting me up. My body becomes weightless, myself just truly letting go. Not worrying about the future, not worrying about the past or the present. I am occupying the spaces that matter the most. Perspectives change and are changing. Quitting is not an option. Right thoughts are my focus, right actions are my goal. Silver and gold, like emotional prizes, truth found, I am useless no more. Victory and happiness, winds of change, XO, XO, XO to myself. Yes, above me is that sky. Yes, the winds have calmed me. Yes, I feel healed. Zen, this might be experiencing Zen. Thank you.
That's where you got it from.
Thank you so much. So you were describing true freedom, the ability to just be in the moment and enjoy that moment. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Can you post your publication links as well? Thank you. Thank you. Please come back. Now we have Eddie Foreman. Is Eddie here? Let's see. I don't think so. No problem. Next time. Now we have Richard Spisak. Welcome.
Thank you so very much. It's very kind of you to invite me.
Oh.
I have two poems for you, hopefully very short. One is a treatment of COVID, since our last guest happened to mention it. I hope she has the mildest case. And I want to thank you for inviting all these wonderful poets. It's such a delight. What an education. What an art gallery these fine poets are, and their lovely voices. I thank you, Amy, in particular. So this first, it's called Down from the Trees. Honey, baby, tell me, please, since we're not so long down from the trees, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, up in the branches or down on deeply polished floors. We like reciprocal, you and me, ever since we balanced on the limbs of trees, whether out in the car or up in the tree. I'll groom you, you groom me. The only thing now that's left for us when the virus sets a fence between what we really feel and what we really mean. With you so far away on the other side of the glowing screen another day, we wave weakly. How I miss your sweet perfume and the many ways, darling, you decorate a room. The distant Mars, our loves, sealed up between the screen's glass walls, untouched. Oh, honey, baby, tell me, please, since we're really not that long down from the trees, I wish you were here to find and pluck off all my fleas. We're isolated, out of touch, and miles away my fingers clutch, in disarray my clothes askew. Oh, what I wouldn't give for you to have your seat beside me here, with your fingers searching my matted hair. Even to have you look with scorn at the clothes piled across the room I've worn. I'd even eat the toast you'd burn if I could beside you touch you and warmly turn. Down from the trees. And then this one, we just had January 6th not that long ago. We seem to find so many times that rich people don't really have to observe laws. It's very strange. And to remind us of all that, I offer this special garland to Merritt Garland. Like an African necklace will history place around his petty pre-purchased rubber neck. History will place its just reward if Mitch's garland buries justice sword. Yes, he was gifted to old Obama like a placid infant to its mama, a ready, steady, quiet sleeper, kind of sort of unlikely to disrupt the favorite order. Let's watch as the courtiers pillage from every township, place, or tillage, and loll away at their leisure, all undisturbed. Of their crimes, there'll be not spoken a single word. A big investigation will be held, but any charges, well, who can tell? Who is this AG history will observe, who can leave all this villainy there undisturbed? And all the top players will keep their booty, cause our AG Garland's allergic to his duty. It's just so hard, they say, to fight white-collar crime by the light of day. So we avoid it and join it and reward it all the time by the dollar, by the dime. But only petty criminals pay the fines. The biggers got their booty and there's no pursuity. There's just never time. Garland gets a pretty chair, a grand title, a limousine, and gaily daily golfs with folks of means. And all the while he sups with golden cups and in full elegance dines. Yes, he may comfortable and quiet sit, but history will judge him by his unflutched shit. If not for his wilted wit and spine supine, though that Soweto necklace he may avoid, though historians may lever a harsher fine, his name destroyed by its sour wine. Is there no desire in him to protect our democracy? What the heck? If he casts his lot with old McConnell, and never raises the cry to battle, he'll ne'er protect the sleeping cattle as they smear invectin and make the signs of rabble dabble. And they clamber through the windows of the chamber of the Senate just to wreck 'em, because they resent democracy and replace it with what? A less responsive autocracy? Mary, damn it, is there no correction for this homegrown insurrection? Just another of those trials with littles only while the biggies smile. While, as usual, it's the big dog spree. They'll walk away scot-free with all the money, 1, 2, 3. They freely swindle, steal, and pillage, steal the house, the car, the village. What the heck? Garland's got his pot of honey. And our respect, well, that's funny.
Thank you, sir. Well spoken. Well spoken. Thank you. Both. Thank you. Now we have Lantern Carrier. Welcome.
Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome.
Songs of Poetry, a poetry in song, Poesia Cantata. Sometimes I run into obstacles. I cry from the plunge of darkness, seek healing from falling snow. A victim of my own transgressions, I sought solace in a mirage of shadows. Silhouettes gave me false promises. Now the day seems endless and my soul weeps. Sometimes raindrops fall on my windows. Light winds caress the tide. I hear the melodies of celestial nymphs and dream of tomorrow's virgin dawn. Goals go by in a cloud of grandeur, my gaze fixed at the beauty of this heavenly romance. Sometimes my emotions take me to the bliss of lofty and dizzy heights. Arm in arm we walk, she looks at me alluringly, and the winds speak to me of love. The symphony of Mozart augments the fragrances of dahlias, while the rain sheds tears in adoration. Sometimes I'm not where you see me, not where the form resides. Instead, I salute in silence to a sweet cavern in my heart. Delicately balanced on the radiance of myriad rainbows, I play with sunbeams, grab at the resonance of waves. Sometimes all around is beauty. Moving pictures speak. The inanimate becomes alive. Inebriated, I bathe in the wine of heaven. Sweetness fills the magna of my soul. Sometimes I hold your gaze. No words. Zephyrs drift where the snowflakes fell, in a place where fulfillment dwells. Poem 2. You are beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. Your smile is like the synergy of dawn and sunrise, magnificent, with a glow that defies superlatives. Your long glistening hair reminds me of a Mayan empress, majestic, like pure white snow, yet you're so much more. Zephyrs cascade flowers as I adorn thy sacred feet with frankincense, gathering the scattered fragments of my love. I've turned them into vessels of a thrill I once felt, deep and vast like the ocean's bed. Some fight over the value of glittering gold. Others prefer to wait at nights, seeking the illustrious shine of moonlight. Yet you're always with me. I just need to savor the sweet wine of thy lips. All else is meaningless to me. Not seeing thy cute gaze only fills me with agony. My pain mimics unrequited love, troublesome, full of wails and emptiness. I sing on starry nights as Orion glows. My soul soars on shafts of light, cradling the flute of minstrels. The gardener tills the soil, knowing that without rain, crops will not be harvested. You're my sun and diamond rain, O lover. I know like an unripe mango that when I become mature, you'll show thy face Only when mother's ready will I drink bosomed milk. Only with you inside my heart will I see the majesty of shooting stars. Come, my sweet Shyama, pour into my soul the sweet bewilderment of thy golden silence. Lantern Carrier, thank you.
Thank you. So beautiful. Just dripping with imagery, amazing word choices. Beautifully done. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you. Now we have Noah Levin.
Greetings all. So, oh man, that piece from Lantern was beautiful. So I look forward to completely ruining the mood that we're all in.
Oh, that's okay.
This is called Wrath of the Small Knowing. Don't you know I hate you? With your eyes and yours, something that doesn't quite spell. The nothing is full in my pockets and my dire distress is clenched in my fist. Fucking stagnation. Free mind because I can't. Free mind because I'm probably just frustrated with the status quo that my voice keeps rallying against, but that fucking echo is just a has-been from the last act. Knock, knock, but nobody's home. My knuckles are starting to hate me. Bleed! But that's just the sign that the life spirit is still flowing, and don't you just want a reaction? Grab a fucking cup, because maybe it'll do you a bit of good. I hope your know-it-all smile leaves you some mirth to laugh at, because I know better, and I sold you that fucking glass anyway. If I'm alone in a room 1,000,000 and nobody else sees the what's what, does the preacher really have a hold, or is he as insane as the looks he gets from all those bastards with fingers in their ears? Sandy is as overrated as the normality that clutches the blanket to the bosom, but the invisible dream was seen by everyone and held by none. I'll tell you what, sir. I'll be in charge of me, and you'll be in charge of you, and we'll all walk on down, but I call this showdown over and useless, because the sunset seems to be eternal and the time to walk out is always. But the time of the stand has its always stuck in the opportunity, the volume of the will of the masses, who flock and shatter themselves on the ill-placed windows of the buildings that some of us saw coming from a mile away. You know, the drop in the pool doesn't have to like it. And then let's do this. I'm kind of making this up as I go along. Fairy tale of reality. Pages told as childhood goes, imagination was adrift. Forever tomorrow like eternal timeline drawn in sand. Dare to cross attitude, the only challenge to face. Fairy tale reality was truth and future. Possibilities roamed free as mind, but the clock ticked and secretly stole from flesh. Clock bleeds with each stroke as crush of hand became harder to bear. Chapter piled upon chapter, but which dream could still be reality as mind still sailed on open sea. Tick-tock goes mind. Tick, tick, tick. Tick goes wasted effort. Tock goes more to dream. Onward, onward. But the hand on the clock welcomed in new reality. Stronger reality as bled dreams fell from clock. Pages ripped asunder, floating in sea of lost dreams, slowly dripping. Dripping. The wheel of reality crushed mind, gears grind, clock ticks, system in place. The book was a lie. Reality was set in stone and ambition adrift. The clock bleeds until sea of dreams claims souls and ship of hope is fool's way out. Book under arm, book held high. Staring at clock, I see it was created by 1,000 minds. Shriveled thoughts imagined into reality, ticking together, nightmares born to regulate and steal souls to keep mass weathered flesh together. Arms were, pace set in stone, movement still forward, eyesight stolen, gray is the only normality. Wither in flesh, wither in mind, clockwork patter, it was all still written. Soul sucked into time constructed to strengthen the dreary many. Tick pace, time lags behind in march, down road conquering high. A shout is heard. All hands to the ship. Control the wheel, set course, set sail, set mind, set depth, set heels in place. Mutiny your own destiny. Sail on through the clock. Shatter the arms and mired parts until shattered gears stand at odds to parts lay in waste and tick-tock will not wince. Chapter still pile high wing down as sharpened mind creates new weave. Supposed ship adrift is now at helm and book under arm remains guide to dreams. Sail on now with clock in proper places, northern star and sky above and withered mind no longer toll to pay. Sail on, sail on. Thank you.
Beautiful, vibrant, fiery energy that we need to hear. I needed all that. Thank you. That was awesome. Now we have Gregory Slade.
Hey, y'all. This is called The Ideal Fate. Idealism is too fit to fade away. I knew it in my youth. I am reminded of it today. Taught not to have a heart as prone as mine to break. Perhaps the key might be found in your preparing for the pain. Oh, do not love so much, a plague of words in the poet's brain. One might never find love whose thoughts have bent too far for such breaks. If to love is to lose and be broken, then the break is what I'll train to take. I do not, though, think this is what love means. Whatever the fate of loving is, this is the fate I feel I must seek. Idealism is too fit, though, to fade away. I knew it in my youth, I am reminded of it today. Even as I and my love have been faded, even as the fates I have made have been traded until the training had waned and I'd hated, the ideal love wed in the bed I had mated, made a fool of the faith I had savored, knowing though the sacrifice of saviors, the faith and love not faulted forever, though heavily wavered. So would love rather die then than labor? Is the labor to love but a wager, a bet to be made without takers, a chance one might take to taste failure? Might love even fail to repair you? Ah, but love has not what's been struggling at becoming true. Idealism is too fit to fade away. I knew it in my youth, and I am reminded of it today. Perhaps there is no love then without loss, but there is loss then either way. Love then is the choice we must make. More a matter of faith than of fate. Perfection is a matter of practice. The heart today must learn to beat while it breaks. There is no winning in a wicked game. Loss is not a lover's true fate. May faith never fatally fade away. Let us not live only to claim the grave. Let us not die solely to lay the blame. May we not cry for fear, no, and neither for shame. Let us not shudder from some uttering of another lover's name. Perfect is the plan of the way that's well laid, more perfect than any way we've all prayed, more lovely than any love we've ever made. Is truth perhaps too fragile a thing we lean on in place of tending its wing? Idealism may be too fit to fade away, as I saw it in my youth, as I am seeing it today. Some sayings are said somehow the other way. The truth I see needs itself freed, I'd say. I don't see it fighting for some freeing I need. I see it needing our help not to fade. Thank you. That's
Wonderful.
The Ideal Fate.
Do you have another? Do you have another?
I do.
Okay, that'd be lovely.
I'll do a little bit of a shorter one here. I guess this kind of goes along with that one. Fear not the love that was never. I could never love you enough. Has this made it hard to even get started? the moment having passed, love's memory not having parted. So the future comes too fast to what you never even loved enough, seeming to have suddenly departed. Though it wasn't sudden, the parting, the end is but the end. All we have to choose is love's starting. Knowing how the memory doesn't leave us, to take the heart that the dear departing shouldn't cleave us. Our love was not the blindness to deceive us. It is not the love that fails to believe us, not the time that prevents us from being us. Fear not to begin what will never be enough. No memory is more prone to bitterness than the love that was never loved. Fear not the love that was never. Focus on the love that's forever. Forever in a moment, every moment never better. One can never love enough. Perhaps all the more reason to enjoy all the effort.
So thoughtful, so rhythmic. I love your rhyme schemes. They're so gentle, and it brings us into this really spiritual space where we think more.
Oh, thank you.
About deep things. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Please come
Pleasure
back.
to be here.
You're welcome. Now we have Levin Robinson. Is he here? Let's see. I don't think so. Okay. Hil Hoover, welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Good to be back. It's been a while. My son has decided to play with his noisiest toy, so I apologize if there's background noise.
That's
I'm hoping my
okay.
earbuds don't pick it up too much. I have a new poem that I wrote today and then a shorter one I'm going to read after it. This is called We Are All Mirrors. You're crowdfunding groceries again. The food bank doesn't do any good for those with needs like yours, those whose bodies protest so many of the things healthy folks eat every day without thought or consideration for risk. I have nothing to give because I gave up my shitty retail job, unable to face another holiday season with chronic pain, crushing dysphoria, and the threat of coronavirus hanging over lungs that had been on thin ice since birth. You were denied for disability or accepted but granted so little funding that you have to choose between eating and having a place to sleep. Or maybe, in order to have a place to sleep, you went back to an abusive partner or a dangerous family, accepted the violation of your body and mind for the sake of not freezing to death, for the sake of being killed slowly rather than fast. Or maybe you're one of the ones who left anyway. And the reason I don't hear from you so often is because you have been sleeping on the street somewhere, too afraid to go to shelters that have already betrayed you, out of couches or floors you might borrow. I have no spare room to offer because I'm writing this from the cold tile floor of a converted dining room, a space I had to get rid of most of my possessions to fit into, that is half taken up by the hammock chair that was more important than a bed to the child whose opinion weighs heaviest in my decision-making process, for all that he can't speak it aloud. But maybe sometimes I cave because I'm not strong enough to watch you suffer. Sometimes I donate $20 to your emergency dental fund while I sit here chewing all my food on the same side of my mouth and ignoring the craggy mountain range of broken teeth on the other. In the old days, that was considered strength, wasn't it? The problem is, those of us who want to help each other are all looking in a mirror of our own situations, passing around the same few dollars trying to get everyone lunch and finding it never stretches far enough. More so for those of us for whom money management is a foreign esoteric discipline, those whose own very illnesses make getting the treatments and programs and support everyone claims exists impossible. Did you, like me, lose a marriage or a family of origin or a million potential partnerships and friendships to your own inability to stand up on a bad day? Lose job opportunities to hours spent on the floor in front of the toilet, on the floor of every room you crawled into when you couldn't walk, only to be called lazy and mocked for your bruised elbows and knees. I remember you from the forums in the old days, losing yourself in the comfort of fiction and roleplay, and the universes where you could be a hero or a lover or even just inhuman in a way that meant special and not trash to be taken out. You're crowdfunding groceries again. And there's nothing in my wallet. And there's nothing I can do except say, I see you and hope you understand that there are a million more words behind and under that I can't properly afford to say. So that was today's poem. And thank you. And then I'm going to read one called Practice. Can you love your way out of crisis, I wonder? I don't mean marry someone wealthy to fix your debt or move your way up some ladder that ends with luxury or lack of struggle, but rather sit in the midst of all that is hurting and hard and hopeless. Breathe deep of the world's wonder and sorrow too. Let the stench of all this death rot and fetid fear coat your lungs, your spirit, and somewhere inside you begin to transform. Breathe out everything calm, cool, and clear like a spring that the world can sip at to refresh itself, like a natural wonder in your own right. Can it be enough to try? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful story. Thank you for telling us. So there with you. Thank you. Well done. Now we have Chris Dickinson.
Hi. Yeah, thank you, Amy. I've got two.
Okay.
The first one's a snapshot. Really, I might as well just bring the photograph and show you that, but 3 strays face the camera. In line for his snack, the black and white stray squats next to a concrete dog, squeezed into a lion's knee propped by a flower pot. Inert, the cat completes the triptych, poised underneath the yew, 3 backs to the fence. The lion sniffs inches above his prey, cavities for teeth, jaws a silent roar. He took root where the rotten elm was felled, brought on a whim to rule in Mum's garden, spent years dressing the raw stump with both paws. The dog, lopsided, blank-eyed, a childhood friend in Essex, stood firm on home ground. Here he's lost his edge, lacks balance, needs help. We hoard the exiles when we break up homes, welcome them to shelter under the yew. Picture these misfits, pets, caught in a flash, posed side by side. It's dark art, like the fable, flesh stilled into artifact, turned to stone. The black and white stray waits for his snack, alert, alone. Snap, and the moment's gone. Thank you. And here's I think this must be my newest one, but I've not written anything this year. It'll come. Poets find the right words sometimes. Unfettered by trees, fendant breezes blast the flat fields, whirl last season's leaves to circle the shelter of our lawn, cushion tinted rugs on the beds of bare shrubs. I can't hint at regrets when autumn cools blood, nips through skin. We put trust in nature. Spring will surely come after the fall. Sadness presses my chest, the lack of breath budding like ill health. Brooding on new death, I search for flowers, a shadow of hope. My eyes choose a card, the hand picks a pen, reaches for an envelope the size of sorrow. I know that aloneness, how it sucks the heat out of bone, burns the throat, turns on a pin. Obsessions freeze the minute, squeeze us dry. Poets find the right phrase sometimes, try to spell out words for public empathy, balance private grief with universal truth. Other days, we lose our touch with reality, away with the fairies, my mother would say, lost to the air like the love of a friend. Thank you.
I'm speechless. That was amazing. Thank you. Both so well wrought, just timeless. Thank you. Is Maggie had to go, yes. Clive Oseman.
Hello.
Hello.
Right, I'm going to do two. Some of you have heard them. Haven't read anything new for a few days, but and uncharacteristically for me these days, the first one's a serious poem. Well, if you want to call it a poem, spoken word, whatever you want to call it. And it was actually written for the theme of resilience at Spoken World Online on Tuesday. And it is actually very relevant to me in some respects of my life at the moment. It's called Venom. Sometimes people will try to provoke you, goad you into a reaction to paint you as the bad guy. It's nothing new, especially when you are surrounded by snakes who will do whatever it takes to taint you. They have no motivation other than the peculiar pleasure of bringing other people down. And therein lies the problem. They have no motivation. They are happy in their ruts because they lack the guts to step outside their comfort zone. That warm, safe space where everything has its place, and that's where it remains. Some people have no choice, of course. They're trapped without the resources or opportunity to change anything. But most don't choose to bring misery to innocent acquaintances as a twisted way of hitting back at the world. They're the decent people. We have all had hurdles to overcome. Some have a daily obstacle course just to stay abreast with life and don't need the added strife of the pettiness of the lazy and the jealous. Me? I've had my battles, but I'm blessed with resilience and I'm reaching for something better. I've been a mongoose in a snake pit for far too long. I've survived and now it's time to thrive. They can't deny me. Their venom is wasted on someone who has found the antidote. They can stay in their zoo being gawped at and pitied in equal measure by those of us who have seen a wider world and learned to live in the wild. And in some cases, they're not even worth the pity. So that's that one. That's got that off my chest. Yeah, back to normal, if I'm ever normal. And I'm sure any of us that are on Facebook, which is most of us, I think, have seen this proliferation of ridiculously banal questions that keep being asked, which are really just ways of asking you for your passwords and the answers to your security questions, like what year were you born and what was your mother's maiden name and all that. And the ridiculous thing is that literally hundreds of thousands of people reply to these posts, and most of them seriously. I like to just put something really stupid, and that inspired this poem, and it's called, well, if you want to call it a poem, and it's called An Interview with Facebook. So, Clive, where were you born? I was born in a small town just outside Wedlock. I'm not sure where that is. I can't find it on a map. And every time I asked my mother, she said I was a bastard. She never had much patience with me. She has a lot to answer for. What was the name of your first pet? I was never allowed pets, so I got very attached to my pillow. I used to take it for walks, not on a lead, obviously. I mean, I didn't want people to know. I used to stuff it up my jumper. It didn't really have a name. Then one day, it suffocated my uncle. I think it did the world a favour, but it had to be put down or taken away for forensic examination, as the police euphemistically called it. That made me sad. What colour was your first car? It was rust-coloured, with a brown interior. The interior wasn't always brown, but my passengers had a collective loss of control as I hurtled through a built-up area at 130 miles an hour on a foggy night. I always had to keep the windows open after that. Never really got rid of the smell. As a child, what did you want to be when you grew up? A lamppost. I always had a strange fascination with lampposts. I didn't see the light until I was 18. The council wouldn't give me a job because I wasn't the regular standard design, so I went freelance. It was okay in the summer, but winter was a challenge, and having dogs peeing all over me wasn't nice. It made me wonder why people didn't just stick to pillows. They have much better hygiene and are useful for getting rid of arrogant relatives. Now, as a full-grown single adult, what would be your ideal date? July the 9th, the height of summer, long hot days, all the prats who call me a wuss because I can't stand the cold, moaning it's too hot. I hope they suffer, the bastards. What was your mother's maiden name? She had a double-barreled name, which in those days meant you were upper class, not from a broken home, or so she said. It was security question, Miss Ansia security question. Everyone knew her as Anne. If the last thing you ate was all you could eat for a month, what would you be living on? Hopes and prayers. There's not that much of next door's budgie to go round, to be honest. Which great English writer were you? Shakespeare. I don't write my own plays either. If your age was flipped, how old would you be? Really, it would be much simpler if you asked me what year I was born. You'd be sure to correctly answer the security question then, whether my birthday had passed or not. But since you ask, I would be 99. Unless I was standing on my head, then I'd be 66. Who knew that standing on one's head could make one younger? And if you ask me any more stupid questions, I'll stand on your head, see how young I can make you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for bringing so much laughter. Thank you. And the first one, really got me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Sorry. Next, we have Joy St. John. Are you here? There you are. Yay.
Yep, I'm here. I'm here. I found a couple to read. The first one was an attempt at some weird Gaelic form that I can't pronounce. So I won't even try. Here we go. It's called On Woo Woo. Life had given me peril from repeated sorrow, wound, confusion, barrels of what felt like zeros. In need and timid, I fell for the shaman, promises of magics, of wineskins at Canaan. I put forth report. Moral support proper, without prayer appeals, might have helped me prosper, more than a service trying to uncover what I'd perceived previous. Life makes us to suffer. Reflections, merits, well known and well ample, plus friendship's kind regard, are better than spangles. It has an interesting syllable and rhyme and consonants and weirdness about it. So, hey, I don't pretend to be an expert, but there it was. Okay, so the other one that I want to read is I call it Smithy. But it's after a poem called Good Bones by Maggie Smith. So I don't know if you guys want to hear her poem and then mine, or if you just want to look her poem up yourself, if you care. Do you want to hear her poem before you hear my rewrite?
Why don't we do whatever order you like, but please do both.
Both of them? Okay, I'll read hers first.
Okay.
It's called Good Bones. And I decided to read this one after Markey Mark and his material, by the way. Okay, anyway. It's called Good Bones. It's by Maggie Smith. and she writes, life is short, though I keep this from my children. Life is short, and I've shortened mine in 1,000 delicious ways, 1,000 deliciously ill-advised ways. I'll keep from my children. The world is at least 50% terrible, and that's a conservative estimate, though I keep this from my children. For every bird, there is a stone thrown at a bird. For every loved child, a child broke, bagged, sunk in the lake. Life is short, and the world is at least half terrible. And for every kind of stranger, there is one who would break you, though I keep this from my children. I'm trying to sell them the world. Any decent realtor walking you through a real shithole chirps on about good bones. This place could be beautiful, right? You could make this place beautiful. So here's my rewrite, again called Smithy. Life gets too long and I don't have children. Life grows long and I lengthen it despite myself in 1,000 delicious ways that require a lot of work in the garden and kitchen. I wish I had someone to help, but I have no children. The world tips decisively toward terrible, while still being glorious too, but I'm glad I have no children. For every stone thrown at a bird, there is a child who threw it, so I have no children. For every loved child, an unwanted child foisted on its parent and the tippy world. Life is tiresome, the world tips, and those strangers are often very kind, but I have no children to tell of it. You try to sell this place to your children, ye used car spivs, social capitalists, chirp on with your pretend. This place was beautiful. I worked to make it beautiful again, and am glad I have no children I made to shoulder this anvil of a task. Thank you.
Brilliant as always. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you shared both poems there. Now we have Kate Jenkinson.
Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome.
So pleased to get here. It's the first time I think I've managed to. So a few familiar faces and some lovely new voices. It's fantastic. I'm a little bit nervous. I've got 2 brand new poems, so I've just been shining them, but they're probably still a bit rusty. So just let me know what you think. And the first one is called Pennies from Heaven. A penny for your thoughts. What do you think I am? A slot machine for your dreams? My thoughts are worth millions. Okay, I'll give you my 2 penneth. Poetry does not grow on trees, you know, so why should it be free? It needs seeding with idioms and fertilizing with metaphors, because words do not write themselves. A penny has 2 sides. No, that's a lie. How else could it roll? I am the 3rd side encompassing the whole. There is no movement without me. You two would just argue your different points of view, heads and tails, but without an edge to take you somewhere new. A penny black is worth the most. Well, that's a truth, but not the whole truth. A simple stamp of pedigree, but no longer current. A currency so distinct it cannot be used, whereas the simple common stamp is worth the most. It brings messages of love from me to you. I keep turning up like a bad penny on lots of open mics, by the way. Although I'm not bad, I am reliable. When you need a reminder of my value, here I am. Nothing reliable is bad, surely, unless I remind you of your penny pinching poverty. You are wealthy with me, though, because each time you pick me up, I bring you luck. And finally, those pounds you long for aren't worth wasting your time on, because if you look after us pretty pennies, we'll take care of them. Is that enough thoughts for you for now? Do your pennies overflow, or has the penny dropped? So that was a bit of fun. I belong to another club. You never quite know when the members are going to turn up though, because it's the sort of 5 a.m. in the morning Facebook Poet Can't Sleep Club. And this poem's called Insomnia Poetica. I open one eye. Oh, poetry has prodded me with a line. A semi-conscious mind is playing with it, kitten-like, pouncing, as poetry dangles fluffy mice on strings, and I tried to catch the meaning of this at 5 a.m. My mind has wobbly legs, but claws enough to catch the bait, and I'm falling over myself to create a sense of something other than how frustrating fun can be when you'd really rather be asleep. The fuzziness of otherness keeps tickling me. Oh, maybe I can learn this lesson poetry is teasing me with. What is it trying to say? Have I become too serious? Stuck in my melancholy ways, could I chase this feeling down and catch the other prey? Or is poetry a Pied Piper, leading me to some drowning death of endless musing? Yes, I realise I've become too serious. Poetry is a jester, wildly carousing at midnight open mics. I need to find poetry much more amusing. Thank you.
So fun. Thank you. That just wonderful imagery. I love the way that your metaphors jump and dance and do all the things. That was lovely. Thank you.
Same.
And now we have Poetry Flames. Is that you? There you are. Welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me on. Oh, and Alexandra, I'm sure she's one of your members that follows up on this as well. She put me on to this because she wanted me to share my work.
Oh, good, good. Thank you. That's awesome.
And so far, I've enjoyed every single piece that I've heard. Everybody has done a great job so far. And since this is my first time on this open mic, I hope you guys enjoy what I got for y'all. And this first piece that I'm about to do is called Streamgate. It takes a system update to confuse opinions, but the system itself can't divide proven facts. You know, since we gotta put gate on everything now, I might not be the first for saying this, but I could care less right now because investigations are sought out. Anyone can have #1 in the top spot for box office or music charts only to get knocked down in a week or two for someone else to take their place anyway. It depends on the staying power for how long that lasts till the hype finally dies down, to make room for others to take a chance on being noticed, toss up for bigger presence. Can't always bring in the crowds by name recognition anymore. While there's extra steps to climb to stay relevant this time, the newcomers are going to sweep up. These tactics, trying to pull strings to puppeteer competitive insight for ticket sales and merchandise through bricks of heartfelt grams and slinging blue birds, boost the marketable pitch to other outlets for the plugs they've met, to all the Jessies and Heisenbergs of the periodic table mess in time for distribution casts all over the net. For every trend that lifts off comes the copycats, that sound bites visual aesthetics, selfish to the mimic the benefits, and lockdown calls to reach long distance for short attention span. Or the lack of material extended for overplayed spams of ads and TV spots, while the actual anomalies are under the radar, obscure observations that stops mid-search for hidden gems when they don't know where to look, or they found commas and verses that don't match their banking hooks. every response comes knocking. From the critically strained to the critically acclaimed, yet audience reactions are most likely highly favored to determine the experience of enjoyment. The classic argument reliant on taste and criteria check boxes limits creativity as creativity limits mass release. But everybody gotta eventually have their own voice at least. It takes a person to push hard for numbers, but the numbers themselves can't make the person.
Do you have another?
I do have another piece. I'm actually
Wonderful.
looking through my list right now,
Okay,
but
good.
I'm
Sorry.
seeing all the, it's all good. I'm seeing all the comments right now. Thank y'all for the love. I appreciate it. This second piece is also meant to play with an analogy as well. So I'm sure all of y'all are gonna pick up on this. And it's called Wrapped Up in Foil. Gotta think about the leftovers sitting in the fridge of my conscience. My next reserving of words needed to cool down from heating up previous rounds of service. Maybe the flavors somewhat lost their kick after the resurface, or maybe not. There might be some that's still worth the taste and interest to pick things up again. My own responsibility towards claiming the food that I've made and saved for me so I can eat off my plate with my share, then I could pass around the care given to expression. Let it settle for the buds with different backgrounds, different styles, different circumstances, but similar reasons to at least try them out before giving the consensus. If there's any criticisms, there's no need for rude comments. There's no need for negative annotations. Just thought out words of encouragement and reassurance, what can be approved upon. Allowing me to continue to strive for better, but hold up. It starts with me, knowing that if I can enjoy my work like an incompleted masterpiece, if it's undercooked, then I'm being distracted by distractions that could knock me off balance because I'm rushing the process without fully letting these statements thaw. If it's overcooked, then I'm trying to multitask with everything at once. Timing could be off, thinking that what I say is saying something instead. Me and waiting too long dries it out. My slow build, adjustments to the boiling and the simmering, sizzle with the seasoning and toss of greens with the chill dressing. Every line, or the majority of them, gotta be decent. Make that climb to the good content, great elaboration when it all makes sense. Soon collabs won't sound like a past tense. While I'm a bit picky, I'll observe the possibilities. Okay, in a way, I gotta have some form of a standard. No matter how many fails it takes for me to get that one success. If I don't get it right, then I'm stuck in place just repeating mistakes that feeds my demons I battle with because I'm distraught and defeated, feeling more like a disappointment that I'm reaching for a reach and messy sequence of events that plays out through the steam of my emotions, spilling on top of the stove with the pots leaking, burnt to a crisp, baking in the oven, dessert becoming frostbitten, that I spoil the essential ingredients to make life mean something. Besides grievance, achievements to receive these blessings, yet I'm wasting them on excuses. No, not today, not the next day, and the next after that. I receive wisdom to give wisdom on a daily basis. If I ain't whipping up recipes, who am I to even speak then? Positive influence, as always, keep me going. The Lord as the driving force, the executive chef, while his son is the head, and the Holy Spirit's the sous of cuisine and more active on the scene. At times the positions alternate. So where does that leave me? Where does that leave the rest of us human beings? The stationary setup for the lessons like it's the culinary sessions of understanding the varieties of mixtures. That's what I'd like to see. But what I love to see more in this community that individuality is not a bad thing, but the group gatherings more often, once the gas is off and the cooling cycle's on, we gotta wrap up neutral energy.
Thank you. Thank you for also keeping it real like KHAOS. And also, like Lesley, I felt like I was in a session. I was learning so much. Thank you. And I love your use of metaphor and alliteration. Wonderful. Thank you. Please
You are
come back.
very welcome. Oh, I would love to. I would definitely love to come back to this. This is a great opportunity for me to be able to express my work, share my work with all of you. Beautiful poets, amazing poets. I don't know. Is it possible that I'm one of, if not the only youngest one amongst your group?
You may be. You may be. Welcome.
Well, it's not me. I'm not the youngest.
So for me to come into this with this much support already, I appreciate it so much.
I'm only 10.
We know.
I'm 7.
Oh, thank you so
I'm 7.
much. It's brilliant. Oh
Absolutely.
my gosh. I muted myself. Now we have Chloe Jacquet. Is that right?
Yeah, you did.
Yay. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks for
Hi.
having me. It's my
You're
first
welcome.
time here and haven't read in a while. I'm feeling a little nervous actually. I'd like to read 3 fairly short poems if that's okay. So because it's January, I wanted to start with a 4-line poem called New Year's Resolution. This year, I'm giving up baby oil because it's unethical. The way they squeeze those babies is disgusting, just so we can get a bit of moisturizing. Right, thank you. I can see some laughing and clapping. So keeping on the theme a bit, and the next one is a New Year's biology lesson. Each year, billions are birthed on the exact same day, a predictable, synchronous hatching event. They swarm in their droves all around the globe on wings of hope, desperately fighting for survival. As early as the first few hours, they begin to die. Soon they start to drop like flies. Very few survive a month, and perhaps only a handful make it to the end of the year. Apathy sometimes causes them to fall. Temptation can distract them like moths to a flame. Another big killer is the unrealistic expectation. Life truly is perilous for the New Year's resolution. Thanks, thank you.
That was so good and so funny and so thoughtful. I love your personification of nature and her thoughts and feelings. That was really well done.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Do we still have Dax in the house? Is Dax here? I think no.
Hey, I'm here.
You're there. Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hi. Hey, everybody. My name is actually Danny, and I had a breakup with the letters I and Y, and that is why I spell Danny now with a D-A-X. Thanks, everyone. It's been really cool hearing everybody else's poetry. I have some 3 short poems for y'all, and the first one is actually not really a poem, it's a short prompt. Tell a truer story of your birth. And so I wrote, born on a faraway planet, my species was going extinct. All newborns were stolen and carted off to Earth, abandoned once there to push us to forget who we are and make us conform to earth norms. My slimy green form slid into the human baby nostril. I wrapped myself around the brain, sensorially sliding and feeling and meeting every crevice. It was pounding and energetic, like the mountains of my planet. I explored and got to know it. I let it get to know me. I was literally shocked by its synapses. We experienced so much together, trapped in that cranium. We became best friends and worst enemies. It's kind of still a rough draft. I feel like I have to edit it a little bit, but I just like the idea of maybe I am the alien that's inside this body. So my next poem is called Timber. Shiver me, timber. I want to step into you, the depths that get into others' depths. Crawl under my skin and let me feel you. Cater to my chords, craft me a cadence. I go chopping in the woods looking for you, but you're not there. Maybe because I didn't bring an axe. Axe body spray is the timber in you, or in the flowers I roll that make me cough, each hearty searching and yearning to catch that lower register. And my last piece, I apologize for some strong language in this one. This one is called Oral Fixation, and it's based on a conversation with my therapist where she asked me, like, where do I feel most of the tension in my body? And so this is about that. Okay, now listen to your body. Where is the tension? I clench my teeth. In my jaw. Why do you feel it in your jaw? Initiate hypervigilance, overthinking sequence, oral fixation. Lipstick, chapstick, chapped lips in the desert, dick sucking lips in the desert, oral fixation. Putting braces, mouth guard, ball gag, fix your face, oral fixation. Putting food in my mouth, denying my mouth food, drooling, conspiring against my body, kisses, denying kisses, oral fixation. Light it up and take a puff, having a voice, not having a voice, singing at karaoke, singing in the car, oral fixation. Verbal diarrhea, 10 years meditating in silence, open mouth, closed mouth, mouth looks like a monkey when I smile big. Big mouth, be less big, oral fixation. Overshare with my therapist, overshare with my friends, overshare with the internet. At the moon, oral fixation. What do I need to get out of this? Oral fixation. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Those were so clever and so personal. Well done. Very well done. Thank you. And now we have Finn Hall.
Okay.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Unplanned this, but anyway, here we go. Right, so different from me, and I hope you're not going to go to sleep because some people might not be able to sleep after this. It's called Haunted by Love. We write in hearts, not heads. There are no typos in hearts, in parts and words, sublime, absurd. We understand what we mean to say, even though we can't say them all in just one day. And the heart won't release the words the way it releases our feelings. And my feelings, I think, are also in my mind, helpless and unkind. Since that day, I found you dead. Blood still dripping from your part-severed head, splayed across the bloody sheets. And although the killer has been found and jailed for life, I still envision the murderous knife. Steel and scarlet, it took your life, leaving me alone and lost, scarred and scared for everywhere I turn. The image burned into my brain from which I fear shall ever remain is your ashen face, your grace emptied as your eyes of life. I open the curtains and you are there, your partial headless corpse causing me remorse. I should have been there. Behind every door in every room where even sunshine doesn't cover the gloom, your life taken away too soon. You haunt me, taunt me, and tear my very soul as if by doing this I could ever make you whole. On the TV, on my phone, on my iPad, every time I try to watch the news, a film, a show, I see a lifeless body, all red and white and pallid grey. And even on Bake Off, you appear within the cakes. Leave me alone, for my sanity's sake. And most people, when they lose their loved ones, they recall memories of love and fun, sad but loving once they're gone. But me, oh me, what have I done? What have I done to deserve this? Your sudden demise was not my doing. Yet still you make me feel as if it was. In sleep, you appear, restless sleep in the very bed on which you bled, on which you lost your head, the nerves and tendons hanging out. A grisly end without a doubt, and I found you there when I came home, lying, bleeding, all alone, your body from whence all life had gone. Not long. Too much I suffer. Too much I grieve. I need this apparition to leave, making my life a living hell when all I did was love you well. I was there when you needed me, always there when you needed me. Now I need you to leave me be, for now I need to sleep forever, to sleep no more, to dream, no more to hear your beckoning silent scream whenever I turn. Tonight I will make my last. So now I go to sleep. I need peace, hopefully never to waken. Silence, silence, an eerie silence. I sit up, I see a bright light, and it's not day, it's not night. I peer, and in the distance you, as clean as one, whole and calm, still beckoning me with your outstretched arm, saying words I cannot hear, closer yet, not quite clear. At last you reach me, close now, whispering in my ear, words cold and chilling. I always said I couldn't live without you. Now I cannot die without you. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that experience. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, chilling. Thank
I just
you.
hope you can all sleep now. So
I know, I know. Oh, thank you. Would anyone else like to read before I read a few of them? It's about 5 o'clock here. I don't know how you guys are doing on time, but should I read one?
yeah.
Okay. All right, let me go grab my stuff here. Oh, this is one, it's fun. It was written completely with refrigerator magnets a long time ago. And it just got into Sweetie Cat Press, Beauty in the Eye of the Beholder, that comes out April 1st. So who knows? Keep writing with refrigerator magnets. Okay, it's called Deco. Purple summer beneath diamond sky goddess. Forest mother sleeps after red day. Swim here, recall those from languid sun and water and one. From lazy garden feet, together must beat like cool mist sea. Worship, be, soar, above, though time moan, picture when ships were beauty gowns. Please say hot, honey, light, woman, shine, moon delirious, what the lather said. Urges her bitter blue rose, gorgeous language, shadows whisper, you chant, why love dreams on. Yay, thank you. Aw. Thank you all so much. I've had so much fun. I've learned so much, and I'm very focused on political action. I'm sure you are too. Thank you all so much. I've had a wonderful time, and we're blessed to see each other, blessed to have each other, and may everyone have a peaceful and blessed evening or day, wherever you are.
Amy,
Bye.
Epiphany has
Bye.
asked if they can read.
Who did?
Epiphany,
Oh,
am I right?
Epiphany,
in the chat?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Epiphany.
Maybe.
There you
I'm
are. Yes,
sorry.
please.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I was just sending a message saying I would sign up for the next one, but I did have something I wanted to share. Everything has been so great. I was just hoping to just soak it all in and just like, yes, just enjoy. But I wrote this new piece that I want to share. I love Gestalt, by the way. I do. Let me find it. I'm not sure of the title, but right now it's called This Wordless Experience. I want to remember this place, how I feel while sitting in this chair, on this deck, wrapped in this orange sleeping bag, facing this section of the Coosa River. A cold wind blows, but I am warm. I peek out at the sun, then at the river, and notice flawless diamonds sparkle on the water. I want to capture my endless thoughts of gratitude to my Creator for such a marvelous, grandiose display of grace. I want to remember Rick and never doubt his love for me. He is very spiritual and peaceful. He wants to share his peace with me and invites me here. I come because deep inside, I want this peace too. The beauty of this creation sitting on this sturdy, weathered deck while he is at work, writing words about a wordless experience, the convalescence before it is required, the recovery of my soul, the opportunity to live in harmony with God before I die. What a blissful blessing woven in love. This profound moment cannot be explained. I invite you to join me too. And I hope you see more than a deck, a river, and trees. I hope you see deep reflections of your soul. I hope you experience oneness with the wordless that lives and breathes everywhere.
That was deeply spiritual. That was so beautiful. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to share. I was working on it and tweaking it. But I was like, okay, if I don't get to share, it's okay. I'll come next week, like that. But this is a true experience. And I like the poets. I invite you too, and I hope you see more than a deck and the river and the trees.
I do. So beautiful.
Thank you all for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Thanks for being with us.
Yes, thank you. I'll be back next month. All goes well.
Please do. I believe it's February 27th. It is the fourth Saturday, and our feature poet is Jeff Cottrell.
Ooh, okay.
So good to see everyone. Go get some
It's good to
rest,
be
go
here.
get some tea, a beer, whatever you do. But have a blessed time, whatever you do. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you, Mark.
No, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful
All right,
stuff.
it's been
Thank
a
you. Good night,
pleasure.
everyone.
Good night.
Night. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.